Hey, how's it going YouTube? Domino21 here, and I'm here to present to you guys my Aqua Force deck profile. So of course this build will be revolved around the Blue Storm Dragon Maelstrom. Definitely, in my opinion, one of the best bosses in the game, and just being able to execute multiple attacks to meet his conditions so that he can hit a really high number with a very powerful on-hit ability will bring a lot of pressure to your opponent. So definitely, it's one main reason why I really wanted to play Aqua Force. I'm a huge fan of decks that can really put pressure on your opponent. So definitely very excited for this deck. So yeah, without further ado, let's actually get to it. So, first off for your starter, you have your Officer Cadet Erik. I think he's probably the most practical starter for Aqua Force. What's nice with Aqua Force is that pretty much like all their grade 3s are pretty useful. There's really no such thing as dead grade 3s in this deck because they all usually play some significant role. So it's really nice just to be able to fish for them. And most importantly, Maelstrom's the only ideal Vanguard you want to ride for this deck. So it's very important to try and fish him out at the same time. So yeah. Erik's probably the most stable starter, like I said. Next up, for triggers, just get this out of the way. You have your 4 Stan, 4 more Stan, 4 Otter Person with the emerald on this chest, I think. But yeah, awesome draw trigger. And 4 heal. Eye patch girls. I like eye patch girls. But yeah, so yeah, 8 stand, 4 draw, 4 heal. I think this is for the most part a very standard lineup for Aqua Force. I have tested out crits in this deck, which it works out okay, but I just like the stands just because it really does fit more of the playstyle for Aqua Force and for the way I play with the deck. So I just find the stands to be a lot more consistent for me. And of course you have to run draw triggers in this deck because you normally will be coming into the field a lot, so you tend to have a small hand size in the beginning of the game, so it's very important to help replenish your hand. And next up for grade 1s, you have, of course, your 4 Tier Knight Theo, standard 8k, just very important in a lot of decks. 4 Perfect Guards. It is debated that 3 can be a little bit more balanced for the deck just because, like I said, you tend to have a small hand size a lot of the time just because you're committing to the board a lot, and the deck doesn't necessarily produce a lot of hand advantage for you directly. But I still like 4 just because, like I always say in a lot of my deck profiles, I want to be able to see these as often as possible and as quick as possible because, of course, there's a lot of crazy abilities, especially like with Maelstrom, that is very dangerous, so just being able to shut them off completely is very important. And also at the same time, like if the deck's running the way it's designed, you do kind of create some kind of advantage between you and your opponent. Just a simple fact is that I'm very aggressive towards my opponent's rear guard, so it helps limit their attacks. So a lot of times through testing, my opponent's usually only throwing 2 attacks at me per turn versus my 3 or 4 I'm throwing at him. So you do kind of create advantage that way, thus making it easier to use perfect guards. So yeah, enough with that. Next you have for Dorothea. She is your dedicated 10k booster for your Vanguard. So the way she works is when she boosts the Vanguard and she is involved in the 3rd battle more, she gains plus 4,000. So dedicated 10k booster for your Vanguard. Very important to put behind the Maelstrom so he can really hit for that huge number of 26, which I'll explain how if you're not sure. But yeah, it's very easy to get off, and yeah, it's an amazing card. You definitely want to run 3 just to be able to draw into her as quick as possible to put behind your Vanguard, because she's really the only card I really want to put behind my Vanguard. And then next up, you have 2 copies of Reliable Strategic Commander. I'm definitely loving this card. This card is amazing in this deck because just like, let's see, what's a good example? Narukami, for instance. When your opponent's playing against Dragonic Eyes of Vermilion, you're usually very hesitant to give them their limit break early or too soon because, you know, it's a very powerful ability. The same idea goes with Maelstrom. Your limit break, he has a really powerful limit break 4 ability that your opponent will sometimes keep you from hitting 4 damage because they're not probably ready to deal with Maelstrom just yet. So yeah, it's pretty good. So, because sometimes I even catch my opponents holding off attacks just to keep me at 3 damage. So yeah, that's when you drop one of these, put yourself at 4, And then now they have to deal with Maelstrom. So it's pretty much that's that. What's even nice is if you happen to hit a heal trigger, you still heal, and then you can still put a card back in the deck. So you normally recycle a trigger. So it's like a nice way to double heal and sack your opponent even more. So yeah, really amazing card in the deck. I definitely recommend it. And then last but not least, 2 Tier Knight Cyprus. I think it's a really amazing card in this deck because, as you're gonna probably see when I do throughout this deck profile, that you don't really rely on Counterblast at all. So you're gonna have a lot of open Counterblast. So he can help to either fix columns to hit for better numbers, or you can Counterblast enough so that he can just be an attacker by himself, which is very strong to have in this deck. So yeah, pretty solid lineup, and the 7K is pretty solid too. So that is my grade 1s. Then next up for grade 2s, you have your 4 copies of Tier Knight Lazarus. I can't pronounce these names, so sorry if I mispronounce them. But yeah, just a really good solid 10k body to ride turn 2 defensively. And what's very important in Aqua Force is just to have as many standalone attackers as you can, because 10k is usually good to hit about anything on your opponent's field. So really solid to run 4 of those. And then next you have one of the most important cards in the deck, your Storm Rider Basil. I'm not sure if I'm saying it right. Leave a comment down below of how I should actually pronounce this, but I call him Basil. But yes, you're enabler in the deck. So the way he works is you put him in the rear guard circle. So when he battles, and he's the first battle of the turn, then he gains plus 2,000. So he does attack for 10k, and then you switch him with a unit in the same column as him. So that's why it's really good to have standalone attackers. So of course you just go, you attack, you switch, and you attack. So it gets you off 2 attacks in one column, which is nice. Even though, like with Basil, he only hits for 10 at most unboosted, and 11k Vanguards and higher are pretty common. It's very important just to be able to get off the multiple attacks to help meet the conditions of some of the skills in the deck. So it's very important to do so. So yeah, I just run 3 of him because I do run a total of 6 Storm Riders, which is the minimum I recommend in the deck. And then last but not least, you have one of my favorite cards in the deck, for Valeria, or what I call her is Miss Valier. Leave a comment down below if you actually know what I'm referencing. But yeah, she's an amazing card in the deck. I think she should be a staple in Aqua Force. When she's involved in the 4th or more battle, and she hits the Vanguard, you can retire one of your opponent's rear guards. So just an amazing card overall. The 9k is pretty solid. Typically what you do is you put her in one column here. You have like your Maelstrom, and let's say you have a Storm Rider. If you're not at limit break, you can easily just, do your 2 attacks here, attack with the Vanguard, and then now she'll be the 4th attack. So you can, any triggers you hit here can just be passed on to her. So she'll be hitting for a big number, so your opponent either has to guard it or allow you to get a free +1, so it's pretty simple. So it's a nice strategy to go with if you're not at limit break yet with Maelstrom. So I like running, so that's one main reason why I'm running 4 of her. So that's 11 grade 2s. And then last but not least, because my battery's probably dying, is 4 copies of Maelstrom. Just an amazing card, of course. So his ability is Limit Break 4. When he is the 4th attack or higher in the turn, he gains plus 5,000, and he gains the on-hit ability of when he hits their opponent's Vanguard, Counterblast 1, retire their rear guard, one of their rear guards, and draw a card. So it's a nice direct +2. So being able to put him behind a Dorothea does allow him to swing for 26, which is an amazing number, and gets a lot of 11k Vanguards, which is very common. And he's a solid 11k, so he's a really good as a standalone attacker as well. So very pressuring Vanguard, and definitely, in my opinion, one of the best bosses in the game, just for that skill alone. So it's a really good solid card. And then of course you have your 3 Diamantes. So he does attack for 11, rather than a Basil attacking for 10. So he's an amazing card just for another good enabler in the deck. So I usually try to replace my Basil with the Diamantes eventually once I deal with the 11k Vanguard. So a really amazing card to have in the deck. So yeah, overall the deck is very strong, and it's really fun to play. And of course, like I said, Maelstrom is really the main reason why I play this deck. But yeah, there's even more to look forward to come set 9 and later sets, so definitely be on the lookout for updates for those. But yeah, other than that, guys, feel free to leave a comment down below with any matches you want to see me face this deck with, and just any comments, suggestions, and such, or questions, feel free to PM me or leave a comment down below once again. So yeah, on that guys, don't forget to leave a thumbs up on this video, that's always appreciated, and thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time.